Hello and welcome back to Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3. Now we're going to take a look again at Metroid Samus Returns, and let me just introduce our speakers here. I'm Audrey, I'm here with Teresa.
Hi.
And we have Tim doing translation for our very special guest, Sakamoto-san, the legendary creator of the Metroid series. So Teresa's going to jump right into the gameplay here, but since we're lucky enough to have Sakamoto-san, I want to jump right into some questions.
Yeah.
So, Sakamoto-san, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about, while you were thinking about what the next 2D Metroid game you wanted to work on, could you tell us a little bit about what your vision was and how you decided on Metroid 2 as the game that would have the honor of being reimagined for a new generation?
今回の、2D メトロイドを作ろうとした考えの中で、そういうプロセスに関して教えていただきたいと思いますが、そして、なぜメトロイド2を、リメイクしようと思いましたでしょうか。
はい、ですね、その理由はいくつかあるんですけれども、まず、このメトロイド2っていうものは、サムスとベビーメトロイドの出会いという、今後のストーリーに大きく影響するエピソードですので、これを新たに作り直して、今のお客さんたちにもう一度ちゃんと遊んでいただこうと、ゲームファンの方々のたくさん知っていただこうというのが、一つの大きな理由です。
Well, there are quite a few reasons, but one of those is that within Metroid 2 there is a very key event that happens that influenced the entire Metroid storyline, and that is the first encounter between Samus and the baby Metroid. So I really wanted to take that and sort of brush that up, retouch it, and bring it out to some folks maybe who haven't played the series before, and reintroduce that, again, very critical portion of the storyline to our fans.
それにですね、このメトロイド2は実は僕はスタッフというか関わっていないんですね、このオリジナルの制作には。
Yeah, and another thing is that I actually wasn't involved in the, I wasn't on the development staff of Metroid 2, so I wasn't involved with that title.
そういうことで、リメイクというよりもむしろオマージュにチャレンジするというような形で、その元のオリジナルの作品を客観的に見て、こういうふうに手を加えたらどうかっていうことをすごく思い切ったチャレンジがしやすかった。しやすいだろうなと思ったというのも大きな理由ですね。
And so I wasn't really looking at maybe like say a remake, but more of a homage to this title, where I was able to sort of objectively step back and take a look at it as someone who wasn't involved directly and say, what would I do different, or what sort of sensibilities, what flavor would I add if I did this title? And because Metroid 2 was the title within the Metroid franchise that I could do that with, it was an easy choice for me to make.
Wonderful. We're so glad you made that choice.
もう本当にメトロイド2を選択していただいて大変嬉しく思います。ありがとうございます。Thank you.
You want to tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here, Teresa?
Yeah. So I'm actually going to showcase here one of the new abilities, which is free aim. And as you can see that whenever I'm targeting on an enemy, the reticule will actually turn red, so I know that I'm on target. And then another new ability here that I have is the melee. And if I time it properly, I stun my enemy, and I have more time to hit him. But if I shoot him immediately after melee countering him, I do a critical hit.
Nice. I have to say, the planet SR388 is really beautifully reimagined here. So, Sakamoto-san, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about what your thought process was when you were leading Nintendo's return to Planet SR388 and how you wanted to make use of the 3DS hardware to reimagine the world.
ですね、すみません、SR388 を長年に、再び、到着することになっているんですけれども、やっと戻ったっていう気持ちはどうだったでしょうか。そしてこの世界を、なんていう作り直す、3DS 用のハードウェアを使用して作り直すというプロセスに関して教えていただけますでしょうか。
はい、先ほども申しましたように僕はオリジナルに関わっていませんので、今のチームとともに全員で SR388 に初めて来たっていう感じなんですね。だから
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't involved in the original development, so for me and my entire team, this is our actual first visit to SR388.
なので何でしょうね、言ってみればサムスみたいな感じで、この中をいろいろ探索してあっち行ったらどうなんねやろうなというような感じでこうワクワクしながら開発したっていう感じが。
Yeah, so for us, in a certain way, it's like we're Samus, and that we have dropped down on this planet, someplace we've never been before, and we're like anticipating all the things we're going to find. Like, what happens if we go this way? What happens if we go over there? So there's a level of excitement for us as well as we've been exploring this planet.
3DS を選んだ理由に関しましては、やはりまず2画面ですね。ゲームフィールドとサブ画面を分けて表示できるマップを常に見てプレイできるということ、これ非常に大きな要素です。
And as far as why we chose the 3DS, one reason is the two screens. The ability to have the game screen and the map screen displayed continuously at the same time was a really big appeal for us.
それであとはあれですね、左のアナログスティックですね。これによってフリーエイム360度どこでも打てるという機能が可能になりました。
And another thing that was really important is the analog stick. This allowed us to implement the ability to aim anywhere. That 360-degree aiming capability is possible because we have the analog stick.
あとすごく非常に重要な要素なんですけど、それを今見ていただいている方々に伝えれないのは残念なんですけども、3DS の立体視の機能がものすごく効果的に魅力的に映るゲームだと思います。それが狙いの一つ、大きな理由です。
Yeah. And another thing that was, absolutely critical was something that unfortunately the folks who are watching the stream can't experience for themselves, and that's the 3D visual display that we have. It is so impactful and so effective at really bringing this world to life, and for us it was something that we couldn't pass up on.
早く実際に見ていただきたいですね。
So I really want people to be able to see this for themselves as soon as possible.
It really is truly beautiful, and I want to take this moment to point out that if you want to see the 3D for yourself, you should actually go onto the Nintendo 3DS eShop and look at the trailer. There's one that you can stream on the eShop, but there's actually one that you can download, and if you download it, you'll be able to see these beautiful 3D graphics for yourself.
Yeah, that's right. But there's also another trailer. There's two versions of the trailer, so if you don't have a Nintendo 3DS, you can still watch it. They're both free. But there's also the 3D version that if you do have a 3DS, you could also watch.
So that looks shiny, Teresa.
So this is another new ability that's very new to the Metroid franchise. This is one of the Aeon abilities. It's very unique. And Sakamoto-san can actually go more into detail.
Sakamoto-san, can you tell us a little bit about what the thought process was of adding the new Aeon abilities to Samus's arsenal and what they add to the player experience?
今回の新しい要素の一つは Aeon Ability なんですけれども、その Aeon Ability の、追加するご考え方を教えていただけますか。そしてプレイヤーの体験はどう変わりますでしょうか。
はい、今までなかったものが追加されるということは、もう当然ゲームプレイに大きな影響を与えますね。
Well, obviously, one thing is we're adding something new. So anytime you add something new, you're going to be playing that. They're changing the player experience.
特に栄養アビリティはエイオンっていうそのエネルギー源を限られたエネルギー源として使用しますので、常に使いっぱなしになるわけじゃないので。ちょっと思い切った効果、大きな効果、強い効果を与えることができるというのは大きな魅力です。
And I think something else that's really appealing about these abilities is because they are energy based and the supply of energy is not never ending. You're not able to just spam them and use them all the time. So to make them appealing, we've made them really impactful. So there's a big, like I said, there's a lot of they're very effective and there's a big impact when you do use them.
さらに一つのエネルギー源をいくつもの栄養アビリティでシェアしますので、使う人によってはこれのために残しておこうとか、もうここで全部使っちゃえみたいな感じですごく多彩で個人差のあるプレイが楽しめると思っています。
And because there are multiple Aeon abilities but one Aeon energy source, players are going to have to choose which ability they want to use. And depending on what your play style is, we're going to see a variety of play styles that are really sort of personalized to that person. Some folks are going to be like, I'm not using this one ever, or I'm using this one all the time, I'm right now. So again, I do think it brings a lot of sort of personal customization to play style.
Yes, it's really well balanced, and as we've seen in our last segment, you can't spam it at all. You have to be really smart about how you use these abilities.
Yeah, that's right.
使い切ってしまうからね。
So here's something that I can't really get to right now. So actually I want to go back down here and actually show what's happening here on the bottom screen. So here's my map, and it actually reveals itself as I keep exploring. But with the Aeon ability, Scan Pulse, I'm able to activate it and reveal this giant quadrant of space around me, but also reveal some blocks that might be hiding a path that I'm not aware of on the upper screen.
Yeah, otherwise you'd have to shoot everything.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing I want to point out here is actually this pinpoint system. So obviously I can't get through this door right now, so I'm actually going to put a pin there, and that will mark it for me, so then I know that, oh, I'm going to go revisit later once I get an ability that might allow me to get through it. The other thing is that you'll see on this map that there's a lot of icons here, and I'm not quite sure what each one symbolizes, so I can actually go to this eye here, and this will actually tell me what each icon stands for, and this will auto-populate as I keep going and reveal itself of what each one means.
Yes, it won't spoil anything for you that you haven't encountered yet, but as you encounter new doors, new things, it'll show you what they are so you can remember.
Yeah,
there's a lot here.
Yeah, because I have to interact with it for the game to understand, oh, you want that? Okay, that's what it is.
Yes. We've been talking a lot, but you've been getting a whole bunch of abilities on the way. You got your morph ball, you've got some missile tanks, so you're doing pretty well here on Planet SR388.
Actually, here's a cool, this is probably, I want to get to that missile over there. So I'm going to use my Scan Pulse again, and all I have to do is tap the A button and it will reveal it. I could, if I immediately tap the A button right after I pressed it, I could actually cancel it, so I don't have to accidentally use my Aeon energy. Yeah.
Oh.
That's my favorite. I love hanging on ledges and being able to shoot enemies like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Come on, Liddy. Come at me.
Got good use of your free aim and melee counter right here, by the way.
I love it. I love this ability. It allows really precise targeting. It's really invaluable. As is melee. It's so handy. And I know that's a block I can break, but I can't use my laser beam, so I'm going to use my other ammo. My Metroid detector is sounding off, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to face one.
I think so. So. Oh, he's not feeling so well.
No.
Got dry, flaky skin.
Ooh. Hello, buddy.
So we're going to let you take care of this guy right here.
Oh.
But I don't know if the audience at home can hear this, but the music, the sound effects, the atmospheric sounds in this game are absolutely incredible. And so for anybody who wasn't able to catch our last segment, Sakamoto-san, perhaps you could tell us a little bit again about what went into the development of the soundtrack for this game.
1回目見ることはできなかった方のためなんですけれども、そのサントラとか、SE に関するの開発に、関して話していただけますでしょうか。
今回はそうですね、スーパーメトロイド以来ほとんどのメトロイドシリーズの、コンポーザーを務めている山本健二と浜野美奈子っていう NCL のサウンドチームと彼らのサウンドスタッフが全面的に関わっています。
Yeah, we actually have our sound team this time is led up by two of the composers, Kenji Yamamoto and Minako Hamano, who have been pretty much involved in every Metroid title since Super Metroid in terms of sound and sound development. So we're lucky to have them.
彼らはもう本当にもうメトロイドの音楽サウンドをどうすればいいかってもう全て分かってますので、正直なところ僕は何も言わなくても、サウンドについては安心しておられるかなっていうのがいいですねやはり。
So I'm actually really lucky that we have these folks on there because they pretty much know everything there is to know about composing Metroid music and creating Metroid sound. So to be quite honest, I don't really have to actually do that much.
They do a pretty fantastic job. Yeah. We agree.
よくできてると思います。
Looks like you got yourself another ability. Good work.
Charge beam. So now it will allow me to open these doors that I wasn't able to before. And now that I also defeated the Metroid, I'm able to go back to the Chozo Gate and let me see if there's something here.
There's always something. There's so many secrets hidden around this world, just waiting to be found.
Perfect. Upgrade.
Excellent.
I'll need that later.
So as you're working your way back to that Chozo Gate, Sakamoto-san, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about what the process was for redesigning some of these old maps from the game.
マップのことなんですけれども、
は
前作のマップを、さらにデザインしてこのためのゲームに改めてデザインしたことについて教えてください。
はい、これはもう原作のマップをかなり忠実というかベースにして、はい、まず作っています。
Yeah, well, first of all, these are the maps from the original Metroid 2. That's what everything is based upon.
そして今回新しく追加された能力であるとか、そういうものが効果的に使えるような形で大きく拡張しています。
And then, we made some improvements and some revisions to those maps in order for us to use the new abilities really effectively. We want to showcase those. So there's been some changes based on that design.
そのレベルデザインには今回の、サムスリターンズの、NCL 側のディレクターを務めている、本当に僕とずっと一緒に仕事をしている細川武彦というものが指導して作っています。そして僕自身も隅々まで自分で遊んでチェックしています。
So as far as that map redesign, all the work on that has been done under the leadership of the director on the Japan side. On the Nintendo side, that's Mr. Takehiko Hosokawa, and he knows pretty much everything there is to know about Metroid levels. He knows this thing forward, backwards, inside, and out. Again, so the staff worked with him to do all of this, and I myself played through everything and checked every nook and cranny.
That's not such a bad job.
楽しい仕事ですね。
Yes.
It looks like we're jumping to a brand new area.
Yeah, that's right. So I just put in my Metroid DNA into the Chozo Gate, which reduced that hazardous liquid that hurt me. And that allowed me to proceed to the new area. But for now, I actually want to show this. This ability, the Spider Ball, was very iconic for Metroid 2. It allows for you to traverse areas that you normally can't get to, and it's super handy.
It's really satisfying once you finally acquire it too. She's like, yes, I can finally go up that wall.
Yeah. So I'm going to explore this area right here, and I'm going to actually head over to another ability or upgrade that will be super handy for our next adventure through planet SR388. And so this boss that I'm about to, well, that doesn't look like a Chozo ball, so yeah.
Hello.
Dude.
Hello.
So this guy is also very iconic from the original Metroid 2. He was there. He is not a Metroid. He's just some creature that's been inhabiting planet SR388. And I'm going to assume he has an ability that I want, so I'm going to try and grab it off from him. As you can see, he's bouncing around, so I'm pretty sure that he has it.
Yeah, while you make quick work of Arachnis here, Sakamoto-san, since we're taking a look at a redesigned enemy, could you also tell us about the process of redesigning the enemies for this game?
そうですね。今回の敵のデザインに関して、リデザインされていると思いますけれども、そのプロセスについてお話しいただけますでしょうか。
デザインについては今回のチームのアーティストが作っているわけなんですけども、僕はそれを考える上では、今回のアートのトーンであるとかグラフィックのトーンであるとかをも意識しながら、しかも今回のレベルデザインを意識して、動きとかも考えるんですけども、オリジナルのその特徴であるとか、そういったものを大事にしてほしいというリクエストを出しました。
Well, of course, our design staff is the one who is actually doing the work on the enemies, and and I'm looking at the visual choices we've made in this game, and looking at the level design. I keep all of that in mind, so I'm really helping them with that, making sure that it matches. But I'm also looking at the original enemy design and some of the unique features and characteristics of those, and making sure that the staff is well aware of those, so that they do the right animation and the right placement and everything as they're designing these characters.
そうしなければ前作を遊んでくれた方がここへ来て、その時に原作に出ていた敵と出会ったのに、これ新しい敵かなとか思うっていうのはやっぱり良くないと思ったんですね。
Yeah, I mean, I think it would not be great if someone who had played Metroid 2 came back and they're like, here I am on SR388 again, and they encounter an enemy from the previous game and they're like, I've never seen this guy before. That is something we just don't want to happen.
同じオリジナルゲームを遊んでいただいた方にはやっぱここに来て僕はまた SR388 に帰ってきたぞメトロイド2の世界に戻ってきたんだということを実感してもらわなければ意味がないと思ったのでそのようなリクエストを出しました。
So again, I told my staff, look, what I want for players who pick this game up and they land on the planet and they start wandering, they start exploring, and when they encounter enemies, I want them to say, I'm back, I'm here again, I remember this guy, I'm back on SR388, and they really wanted that feeling to be pulled out of them. So that was a request I made of the staff.
Yes, it really does feel like how you always imagined it as a kid, just brought to life.
やはり自分子供の頃でこのメトロイド2遊んだ時には実際はこうなってるだろうなと想像したものがそのものが今回は実現できたと思います。
成功しましたねじゃあ。
So then I guess that we did a good job then.
Yes.
Cool. So I want to take some time to actually look at this too. This is also new. This is the teleport station. What it allows me to do is to easily go around through different areas that I've already explored on planet SR388. So whenever I encounter another teleporter in that area, I can easily transport there. And it's super, super handy, especially when I've just grabbed an ability and I know there's something that I wanted to get to but I couldn't at that time. So I can just easily teleport myself there rather than backtracking all the way through.
And I've said before, there are secrets and hidden paths all over the place, so you really are going to want to go back with the new abilities you require and explore.
For sure. But instead, I'm going to take this elevator going down.
It's a woman on a mission.
Yes. All right, so we're going to make our way here.
I love how we're seeing just a tiny portion of the game, but we've already seen so many different environments. It's just, there are all kinds of different places.
One.
Yeah. Planet SR388 is full of variety.
So I've been to previous areas, and I know there's something around here hidden. So again, this is a great area where I can use the scan pulse to figure out where I need to go. And it looks like there's a path up there, so I'm just going to go right up.
And again, if you want to just shoot everything and try and find it that way, as Sakamoto-san said, you can just do it that way, or you can use your scan pulse if you have the energy for it.
Yeah, and it's this whole strategy thing of whether you want to preserve ammo or if you want to just go crazy and try to do it all on your own by just headbutting into the walls.
It's player's choice.
Yes, exactly.
Now we have Samus's classic suit,
which prevents extreme damage from extreme heat, which is going to be super handy from getting into these areas. Well, that's not the right way.
Oh.
Zoom through here. Sorry, guys.
You gotta be fearless when you're Samus. Just
Yes.
run right past that fire.
I'm on a mission. Oh, all right.
Oh.
So here's actually a good area to preview another new Aeon ability called Lightning Armor. And what it does when I activate it by just pressing the A button is that it gives this green glow around Samus's armor. Also, when I do a melee, it becomes like super powerful, as I'll show on this guy right here. My laser beam has no effect, but I'll throw a missile at him, and he's. So here, it's actually really helpful when I'm going through swarms of enemies. It will protect me from any damage that will deplete from my health, but when I get hit from those enemies, it'll actually start depleting from my Aeon energy bar.
Yeah, it's really handy because it won't deplete unless you're getting hit, but at the same time, it means that you can't just run around taking hits left and right. You have to still try and dodge and be smart about it.
Yeah, so here's another door that I can't access. So again, I want to go back there, put a little pinpoint. Oh, not that way. This one. And I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Later.
You can have your own crazy like color coding methods that only you can understand.
Right.
Oh, hello, little guy.
Well, that's the Alpha Husk. So, but it's definitely a Metroid I'm going to battle here.
Oh, he's a little different.
Enter Gamma.
And so we can see you actually using your free aim quite a bit right here with this enemy. And so while you take care of Gamma Metroid, Sakamoto-san, could you tell us a little bit about what the process was for adding 360-degree aiming to this game and what it adds to the player experience?
今回のフリーエイムの360度をどこでも習うことができる機能について話して、いただきたいと思います。そしてそれもプレイヤー体験はどうの影響あるでしょうか。
はい、今回 3DS でメトロイドの 2D メトロイドを作ろうと思った時にもう必ずこの機能は入れようと思っていました。フリーエイムは。
So, I mean, when I was thinking I wanted to make another 2D Metroid, this is an ability that I thought we absolutely had to have, the ability to free aim.
これを追加することによってシューティングゲームとしての、メトロイドのその部分が劇的に変化していると思います。
Yeah, and I thought it would just bring a really dramatic and exciting change to the shooting element, of what comprises part of the Samus experience.
デモプレイをご覧になって分かると思うんですけども、逃げていく敵とかに常に追従しながら撃っていくということは今までできなかったことですね。
And I think you can see it if you're watching the gameplay here. You're able to actually stop and track enemies, while they're moving away from you, or whatever it is they're doing. Again, you can just track them and shoot whenever you want, and that's something we haven't been able to do in previous Metroid games.
もちろんテクニックは必要としますけども、それだけにやりごたえのあるというか、この機能を使ってまた新たな楽しみを発見していただけると思います。
And I do think it takes some know-how, some not experience, I guess per se, but some pretty decent ability to do that. But it's going to add something that's brand new, and I think once you get a hang of it, you'll really have a good feeling for what this brings to the game.
Yes, it's still up to the player to aim precisely, but this really adds a lot of depth to the shooting. You're doing well. Did you take him out?
Yes,
Good
I did.
Work.
So I ran out of missiles, but I was also pretty low on health, so I decided to activate my lightning armor just as a failsafe, because I still had some Aeon energy. So yeah, I got some DNA that will help me unlock the next area, but I'm actually going to jump on to a later segment.
Good work.
Yeah.
And while we're switching to a different area, Sakamoto-san, for players who weren't able to tune into our last segment, could you tell us a little bit about how you went about balancing the new abilities in this game so that they felt useful to the player, but at the same time they weren't overpowered and didn't take away from the challenge?
新しい能力の件なんですけれども、1作目はこっちツリーハウスライブを見ることができなかった方のためなんですけれども、追加してゲームで十分な役に立つ、になるように、しかし強すぎず、強すぎないように、どうやってバランスを取りましたでしょうか。
はい、確かにそうですね。新しい能力っていうものはやっぱりダイナミックであってほしいと思いますし、効果的であってほしいと思います。ただそれをやりすぎると、逆効果になってしまうと思うんですね。でこれは非常に難易度の高いチャレンジなんです。
Well, yeah, as far as adding new abilities, we wanted to do something that was very dramatic, very impactful, but at the same time, we couldn't do it so that it was, overpowering. And, as you said, it's trying to come up with that balance is something that's very, very difficult to do.
で難しいからってその問題解決をするためにその能力自体を強すぎも弱すぎもしない中途半端なものにしてしまうっていうのがもう絶対やってはいけないことだと思うんですね。
Yeah, but to answer that challenge, what we cannot do is then take that ability and just say, well, it can't be too strong, it can't be too weak, we'll just stick it somewhere in the middle.
今回のチームももちろんそういう安易な方法で物事を解決しようとする人はいませんので、粘り強く最もダイナミックで最も効果的で、でもそれはやはり緊張感を損なわないものとしてする人しかいませんのでご安心ください。
But our staff is, we don't have anybody in our staff that's that lazy. They're not just going to be like, yeah, I think that's probably pretty good. We really worked hard at and spent a lot of time of making sure that it's dynamic, it's impactful, but at the same time, and it brings a new thrill, new excitement, but it doesn't make it so overpowering that you lose that sense of tension that you get in the game. If you know you're in danger, it's just definitely much more of a stressful experience. And we know that's important to this title, so we didn't want to lose that. Again, so nobody on my staff said, just stick it in the middle somewhere, we're done. So please be rest assured that they've done a great job of balancing this.
Yes, I think Teresa can attest to the fact that it's still difficult.
Oh,
Quite difficult.
absolutely.
This
guy's the bane of my existence.
I think he wants to be your friend still, Teresa.
I don't want to be his friend. He's mean.
いや新しいお友達ができてよかったじゃないですか、こいつ。
Oh, and that was a beautiful melee counter right there. And I really love the animation. And speaking of the melee counter, Sakamoto-san, can you tell us a little bit about the thought process that went into adding the melee counter ability to Samus's arsenal and what it adds to the experience?
やはりこれも新しいアビリティによってなってるんですけれども、今回はカウンター命令なんですけれども、これもどう発想してどういうふうに実装しようと考えましたでしょうか。そして体験をどんな影響あるでしょうか。はい、
メレーカウンターの発想についてなんですけど、これは実は今回のパートナーのチームであるマーキュリースティームエンターテインメントからの提案です。
Well, now the melee counter, I just wanted to real quick give a shout out to our collaboration partner. The melee counter actually came from them. So Mercury Steam Entertainment were the guys that suggested this technique or this ability.
そしてこのメレーカウンターの機能というものはやはりメトロイドのゲーム性に対してすごく大きな影響を与えていますね。
And I do think that what the melee counter brings is very impactful to sort of the overall Metroid gameplay experience.
メレーを持っていなかった頃のサムスは敵が突進してきたらジャンプで避けるとかそういうピンチの状況でしかなかったわけなんですけれども、はい、この能力があるのでそれを逆にカウンターで自分の有利な状況に持っていくというそういう使い方ができるという全く違う、はい、体験を提供することができています。
Yeah, in previous Metroid, you know what? If you had an enemy that came charging at you and put you in sort of a dangerous position, your only option was to jump, just to try to get out the way. But the melee counter allows you to actually strike that enemy and turn that to your advantage. And I think it brings, it changes the combat of Samus and brings a new element to it. So again, it just allows you to take advantage of those enemy actions.
Absolutely, just like Teresa took advantage of that enemy.
I had my redemption. Felt really good.
I'll bet that it did.
Well, that's all we have for the segment, actually.
But
that's all the gameplay footage.
That's all the gameplay footage we have, but I would like to actually bring out those lovely, lovely amiibo.
Oh, that's right. Very, very beautiful amiibo.
Yes, so Sakamoto-san has got them right now, and anyone who's here at the show has gotten to see these amiibo on the show floor, and they really have an incredible amount of detail. So Sakamoto-san, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about what went into the development of these amiibo.
amiibo の開発、そのデザインの仕事に関して教えていただけますでしょうか。はい、
このアミーボに関してはもうひとえに NCL のアミーボチームのなんでしょうね、テクニックであったりノウハウであったりあともう絶対こうしたいっていうそういうこだわりですねこれの賜物だと思います。
Yeah, so this really is sort of a solid representation of our internal amiibo team's ability, their experiences and their design, what they were hoping to bring to life.
自分はゲームデザインに関しては、それなりの経験も持っていますけれどもこういう立体造形物に関しては全くの素人なので、どうしようもないかなという感じですね。
Yeah, so for myself, I know all about game design. I'm pretty good at that portion of my job, but in terms of bringing, creating toys or creating something in the real physical space like this, I thought I pretty much threw my hands up. I wasn't sure what to do.
だからこういうものがあったらいいのになと言いたいんですけども、できるんだろうかというところがわからないので、無責任なことは言えないなと思っていると、そのアミーボチームの方からこんなんはどうですか、こんなんできますよと言ってもうすごく魅力的な提案をどんどんしてくれるんですね。
Yeah, and because I wasn't actually sure what they were able to create, I thought it would be pretty irresponsible of me to just say, I want this, go make this thing for me. But actually the Amiibo team came to me and said, hey, how about this? Why don't we try something like this? And they came up with all these super appealing ideas.
で自分はその魅力的な提案の中のどれを選べばいいのかという意外と贅沢な悩みを体験しています。
And for me to have these wonderful this plethora of great ideas to choose from, I felt like I was I was in the catbird seat, just being able to pick and choose from all these wonderful things.
今回のこのプニプニしているこのメトロイドですけども、これも初挑戦でチームができるやるって言うからじゃあお願いしますってすごく楽しみにしてたんですけれども、実際できるのだろうかというのはもうこれを見るまで安心できませんでした。
So, and actually the team said, actually we want the Metroid to be squishy, and they wanted to, try to do, use this material for the first time in any amiibo figure. And I was like, yeah, sure, if you think you can do it, but to be honest, I really had my doubts. And then, here it is, and man, they were right, they did it.
いや本当にいい仕事をしてくれるチームがいてよかったと思います。
So I'm just super happy that we had such a great team behind the design and the development of both these amiibo.
Yes,
Yeah.
to all of its squishy glory.
Yeah, they're awesome, and I can't wait to have them at home.
Yes, and we mentioned it before, but I just want to reiterate that what we've seen today is just a small sampling of the content and the surprises that are in Metroid Samus Returns.
Yeah,
There's really
absolutely.
so much more there, and so Sakamoto-san, perhaps you could give our viewers just a few words about what they can expect, what they can look forward to from the final game.
今回見せたゲームプレイの中は本作の、ボリュームといったらわずか、少しだけとなるんですけれども、今回ツリーハウスライブご覧になっているお客様にどれぐらい期待したらいいですかって話してもらえますか。
はい、前作というかオリジナルを遊んだことのある方だったらこういうトレーラーとかこういうものを見ていただくとこういう感じになるんだなっていうのは想像ある程度しやすいと思うんですね。
I think folks who have played the original will be able to see what we've shown them today, and they'll have a really good sense of what it is that waits for them.
ただ今回はそれに加えてベーシックなものに加えて新しい要素が入ってきますので、これによる効果というのは掛け算的なものになるので、なかなか想像はしがたいと思いますので、そうですね、お客様の想像されるのはもう本当にごく限定的なものになると思います。
So, but to be perfectly honest, with all the different elements we've brought together and the way that you can, they're not just additive, they're multiplicative, so they really are exponentially bring variety and new experiences. So I think what people are, it's really hard to actually get a sense for what's waiting for them, but yeah, so ごめんなさい、最後の方。
はい、はい、そうですね、なかなか想像しづらいと、はい、いろんな要素が混ざり合いますので、足し算というよりも混ざり合いますので、想像はするのは非常に限定的なものになるんじゃないかなと。
My apologies. So again, it's this exponential variety that's brought when we add all these elements together. And so what I think people actually might have in their brains is really only a slice of what's actually in the game.
なのでこれ僕から説明することはやはり難しいと思いますので、やはりぜひ体験していただくというこれしか方法はないかなと思います。
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, it's really hard to sort of put into words the volume that they're going to see. So the only way we just want people are going to have to play it to really understand what we're talking about.
Thank you. And do you have any final words for our audience?
最後に一言何か。
はい、僕の口から言うのは当然と思われるかもしれませんけど、このゲームは本当に非常に面白いです。はい。
Yeah, I think this might be something you would expect me to say, but really, in all honesty, this game is really fun to play.
もう今すぐにでも皆さんにお届けしたいんですけれども、やはりもう少し待っていただけないといけないかな。
I'd love to be able to give it to you all right now, but I just have to ask that you wait just a little bit longer.
そうですね。すごくよくできているっていう理由の一つがまず操作性が抜群ですね。
One reason why this game is so good is the controls are fantastic.
それがしっかりしてるからこそ新しい要素が生きてきますし、はい、もうトータルにバランスの取れたいいゲームが出来上がったと思います。
And again, because the controls are so good, all these new elements just fit so well, and I think the balance has been, we've really hit a great spot with the balance. And I think overall, it's just the complete package.
おそらく皆さんも待ち遠しいと思いますけれども、僕自身も非常に実際お客さんの立場から早く出てほしいなと思っていますので、一緒に待ってください。どうぞよろしくお願いします。
So I know that all of you or I hope all of you are waiting for it, but for myself too, I'm waiting. From the feeling of a consumer, I feel like I'm waiting with you because we want to get it out to you as soon as we can. So, again, I'm sorry that it's not ready right now, but I'm waiting with you. So please be patient.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time,
Yes, thank you so
Sakamoto-san.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
Tim. And I just want to mention again that we've got a special edition coming out for this
That's
game.
right.
It's got a cool soundtrack with 25 tracks from Metroid's legendary history.
That's
It's got a
right.
reversible cover. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is really neat.
Yes.
So Metroid Samus Returns will release on September 15th this year. We look forward for you to get your hands on it. It's for the Nintendo 3DS family platform, so that also includes 2DS. So we can't wait for you guys to try it out.
Yes, and we mentioned it before, but if you want to get a look at that glorious 3D for
That's
yourself,
right.
please go onto the Nintendo eShop and download the Samus Returns trailer. And it's really nice to get a look at that 3D.
Yeah,
it's
it
really
really
something
is.
else. So thank you so much for joining us. Up next, we have The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, and we're going to have another look at DLC Pack 1. So don't go anywhere.